Warning, the following may contain sea cats. Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced. Previously on Crit-Faced, the worst has happened. As revenge for destroying her flying skull, Baba Lysaga throws a fireball at Lord Talfrin. He falls from the sky, his body shattering on the ground far below. Lord Talfrin is dead.
Hello, faithful listeners. We're going to kick this episode off with a bit of an apology, and I'm going to make the apology because it was kind of my fault. We kind of lost the last half hour of our previous session of gaming, and based on where we have left you guys, it was not the ideal place to leave half an hour. To lose half an hour. But never fear, we're going to recap it here, and you'll be happy to know that the players have not yet had a chance to deal with the final situation with Lord Talfrin that we left you with. So they were too busy trying to deal with the evil hag from hell that had just killed their friend. So, as we have left things, Baba Lysaga is on the ground. Lord Talfrin managed to destroy the skull she was flying around in. However, it was at great cost, as he's dead. Baba Lysaga threw a most impressive fireball at him, and he plummeted 120 feet from the air to break upon the ground below. The massive hut was still on the ground, making its way towards its mistress. So, guys, can you recall what happened next? Master Sunna, what were you up to?
I did my best William Shatner impression. No! And then I think it was my turn. And so because I had nothing else to do, Master Sunna jumped towards Baba Lysaga and was like, I'm going to avenge my friend. And I got some pretty nice dice rolls and actually managed to kill her. Well,
I think just before you did, however, you didn't manage to escape unscathed, did you? Because
no, I was pretty... She did something wicked.
Yeah, so she tried to cast a spell because one of the reasons that Lord Talfrin was so successful, he was keeping her at distance, but you got close and personal, and she managed to throw off one of her most powerful spells, the Finger of Death, at you. Now, luckily enough, it missed. But not luckily enough, that spell, when it misses, it still does a heck of a load of damage. Yes. So am I right in saying you were not in good shape by this point?
Absolutely not. I'm pretty hurt right now.
Okay, so she was riding around by this point on top of her hut, and you managed to jump onto the porch and just a fantastic slice with your blade. Was it your first cut, or did you?
No, I think it was like the third because I had several strikes, and they were all pretty. They were pretty good.
And she died. And meanwhile, Jean Mallarmé, what was Jean up to?
Well, I ran to my friend's side, and I arrived just in time to administer a magic potion that I had secreted in my sleeve. I sprinkled it upon the spread sort of like limbs and guts and bits and bobs, and he just sort of reconvened. He just slapped back together. It sounded quite wet, and leapt up and said, "Jean, you're my favorite person in the world. Thank God you're the first I see when I return from the Black River of Death."
So that's not actually what happened, though, is it?
No.
So when you reached Lord Talfrin, do you remember what Jean saw?
It was a squidgy mess. That's what I remember, and then the rest is just. I have to say, I blocked it out. I just couldn't. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
It's too traumatic.
Too traumatic.
Yeah.
It was like you drop a casserole on the floor, and it just goes everywhere. And like you think I'll clean this up, but instead just go to bed. Yeah. And so I just.
No, you guys have obviously fallen unconscious many times before, but this was very clear to you that he was not recovering from this. This was a bad one. But Kellen, so you've seen Master Sunna. She's jumped up on top of this hut. She's dealt the final blow to Baba Lysaga. The hut froze up, and I believe actually the hut had sort of grabbed Master Sunna in its death throes and was suspending her there in front of the hut. So what did you do?
I believe I managed to save Master Sunna by jumping up to the roof or the porch where she was, and slicing the limbs with my axe.
Okay, and then you guys made your way inside the hut.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure the coast was clear, that we'd rid ourselves of the threat. We went into the hut, and we stumbled upon a creepy little ghost child.
Yeah.
And as I recall, Master Sunna tried to say some soothing words to it, and then it vanished.
Disappeared? Yeah.
Which was creepy. And so we ended up searching the hut, and I came upon a chest, which when I opened it, exploded, and dealt Master Sunna and I, it dealt us additional damage. But once we recovered, looked in there, and there was a whole lot of loot. There was a bunch of gold, gemstones, a vial of some kind of magic potion type thing, 2 scrolls, a small set of bone pipes, I believe, and a small polished gem, I think.
It was a small.
So it was like a small polished stone that was it granted the holder good luck, I believe.
Yeah. It was
are the bone pipes like musical instruments, or like smoking pipes, or like plumbing?
Musical instruments, as I recall, and they're all yours.
The scrolls, I don't know if you remember, because you spent quite a bit of time searching this. In fact, I believe before you found this treasure chest, you guys actually spent some time pulling up some floorboards, because I believe you noticed a green glow coming from beneath the floorboard.
And it was the gem from the winery.
That's right.
And the boards tried to eat us, correct?
Yes.
They did, yes.
You.
Right, yeah. Don't dwell on the negatives. Yes, so you've managed to reclaim the second of the gems that lost from the winery, and you've got lots of magic stuff. You've got those kind of weird pipes. I don't know. Did we discuss any properties of those pipes by any chance?
I don't recall.
No, not the pipes.
Okay.
We have like the oil. The vial was like an oil of sharpness.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, also like one of the scrolls was mass cure wounds.
That's right, which is useful. The other scroll actually was a bit of a slap in the face. The other scroll was a spell called Revivify, and I believe that if it's used within a couple of minutes of death, it can bring somebody back from the dead. Unfortunately, by this point, it was far too late for the jelly that used to be Lord Talfrin.
Yes, I think we should allow the bard to keep that one.
And that's it, guys. That's where the adventure reached up to. We ended.
So the pipes did what? What were the pipes?
Well, have we spent any time looking at the pipes yet? I think we tried.
Oh, we have to. We
tried to, but nobody could figure out.
Well, wait till I get my lips on them.
Okay. So we're gonna do a wee time skip forward here, guys.
Okay.
So it's later on in the afternoon. Sort of a cold wind blows over the marshland that the village of Berez has been reduced into. We're heading to the centre of the village, where a small pile of stones has been built up over the body of our fallen comrade. So I think it's time now to say our goodbyes to your friend. So I imagine, Master Sunna, are you going to be leading the service, as it were?
Probably. So that's actually very good that we've already built a small cairn, I guess, for our friend. And we're like sort of standing assembled next to it, and have sort of like a moment of peace and quiet, so that we have the memory of our good friend. And I haven't, damn, I should have asked before, like, what's your surname? What was Lord Talfrin's surname? Black
Bob.
Oak?
I think it was Bob.
Lord Talfrin Bob? No.
I think it was Lord Bob Talfrin.
It was Black Oak, but I'm not exactly sure.
Well, he's dead now. You can't ask him.
Never mind. We all know Lord Talfrin.
He was like the father I never had. Or the brother or the mother. He was like the sister I always wanted. You know, my favorite memory of Lord Talfrin. One night when he fell asleep, I went over and I snuck out his pipe and I took a couple of puffs on that, and that was not tobacco. That was, well, where I come from, we call it ratgrass. And I think he was high the entire time. I think that man was just floating on a cloud, and I don't think he felt a thing when he died. And that gives me great solace. I think that's why I learned from him. Feel no pain.
Some sort of claps her hand on Jean's shoulders. Thank you for these moving words.
Oh, and I kept the pipe. I hope no one minds.
No, as a keepsake.
Oh, yes, a keepsake, yes.
Okay.
Kellen, would you like to?
My people don't pray to any gods, but Lord Talfrin gave his life to protect all of us, and for that I hope he finds peace. He was the wisest among us, and I fear where we might go now that Jean Marlemay is essentially unchecked. We will miss you, Lord Talfrin.
Aye, we will. And I can say that no, what's the quote? Greater love hath no one than he who lays down his life for his friends. And that was.
I would like to just say I like all of you. I wouldn't call it love.
And thank you for this information, Jean. But I was trying to make a point here.
I'm sorry. Continue.
We're not sure what Lord Talfrin believed the afterlife would look like, but perhaps since he died here in Barovia, the Morning Lord will take a special care for his fire-loving soul.
Okay. And Master Sonna, as you say that, for the first time, I think any of you have seen since you guys have arrived here in Barovia, above you, the pervading greyness cracks open, and a single shaft of pure sunlight streams down from above, just causing a glow to emanate from the cairn that you've erected for Lord Talfrin. And for the briefest of moments, a shape there appears in the glow. And what is it they see?
It is Lord Talfrin himself.
Oh my God.
Looking dapper, clothing mended, mud washed away, blood. His face is no longer a composite of jelly pieces. He looks much himself. And he gazes out of this glowing shaft of sunlight, and you see like unmistakable fondness on his craggy features as he stares down at the three of you. And he says, "My friends, I must bid you all goodbye. But it has been a singular honor to travel with you through Barovia. And I can say that even though in your company I found pain, misery, and death, I did not live before being brought here. And it's only these past few weeks I felt that I, in some way, began to realize that potential and that purpose that had eluded me my whole life. And for that, as I move on to much, much better place, that I will always be grateful. And I will think of you constantly as I do all the wonderful, wonderful things that await me, and hope that you will bring this justice to Strahd that he so richly deserves." Jean?
Yes.
You can use my pipe, but I advise you wash it out first.
All right.
There is great potential in you, young man, and it grieves me that we were not able to connect as I wished. I was perhaps too hard on you.
No, I'm a cad.
Then I forget I said that then.
Anyway, no, keep going.
Master Sana, your wisdom is what shall guide these two. Now that I am gone, not that I had much claim to such words, but please make sure that they do not throw themselves heedlessly into the tiny bedrooms moving forth. And Kellen, don't reach for every blood spear that pokes itself out of a tomb, even if it does look quite enticing. I bid you all farewell, my friends. It has been an honor, and I hope to see you many, many, many years from now as you two cross this threshold, over which I now pass. I know there's a really nice house to the south that you should go take a look at. Very nice manor. Just head straight south. I think they've got some amenities that you'll enjoy.
Thank you.
Death traps and...
He gives a little wave, and then he starts getting pulled back. He's like, "Oh, I was going to say something." And he gets pulled back a little more. He's like, "Wait, just..." And then the sunlight cuts off. And he's gone.
Okay, so guys, as Lord Talfin rightly described, the beam of light fades away as if it never happened. The memory of sunlight already seems to be fading in your mind, and you're left alone. Your gaze casts in the direction that the apparition pointed, and you do see, I don't know if you recall from earlier, we do have this wee ring of houses.
A Hilton.
In Berez, but there was a manor house just to the south.
Is that where we saw like a flashing light? Was it from the manor house?
No, the flashing light is off to the east. Manor house. The manor house is to the south and still on this side of the river. The flashing light, no longer flashing. In fact, was over to the east, where some standing stones were.
Okay, so,
You know, I think what we all learned is that when you die, you get one last limelight, and that's profound. I am going to start writing my final words now. Yes, the spotlight. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, nothing to do now but to go get drunk. So, shall we find?
wine.
Well, there has to be a tavern around here somewhere, right?
Well, perhaps that's what he meant with that, maybe there's something in the manor house.
Oh, yes.
I, for one, really need a rest because I'm, even if this is like a couple of hours later, I'm probably still really banged up.
Yeah, it looked terrible.
I'll let you say, because we have taken the time to build the cairn, you can certainly spend any hit dice that you have, which I imagine you've got quite a few by this point. So we can say we can have a short rest.
Okay.
So, but you're right. Other than that, you're still feeling the emotional as well as the physical strain of that encounter. What's the plan, guys?
Oh, this is usually where Lord Talfin comes up with a plan.
Well, he has come up with a plan. His final words to us were a plan. Which
Yes,
is
The manor.
The manor, and also Jean's the leader. I remember he said that. You all remember him saying that?
No.
For the leader, he said. And Jean is like, he called me a son to him, really. I mean, essentially a son, like a step, I mean, sort of an adopted pet. I mean,
I don't think that's what clean my pipe means.
Are we?
Oh my God.
Okay, are we heading to this manor house then?
Doesn't sound like they are.
we're cautious now. We've just buried one of our own.
Mm-hmm.
Straight to Ravenloft.
Yes, I think we should head for a repast. We should go.
Isn't that weird anyway? Because it's like normally we've been like dispatching vampires and stuff, and then Strahd would always appear and he'd be like, "Ha ha ha! This is nothing to me! Ha ha ha!" And now it was like we've just taken down the second most powerful person in Barovia, and
nothing.
Do you think
Now he's afraid of us.
Is he scared?
We should double down. We should double down. We should go straight to his door. Knock, knock, knock. Who is it? It's us. And then he'll probably just die of fright.
I hope so. But let's go check out the manor house.
Okay. Right. So you You head south, guys. The manor house. Lord Talfern had mentioned that there'd be amenities there. You are dubious because as you get here, it's in very much the same ways that the other buildings here are the sort of the rotting shells of village cottages. This is the rotting shell of a manor house. I mean, it really is just reduced to piles of stone and rotting timber. There are sort of empty arch windows staring at you. You can see there was a garden that's just been allowed to grow for decades, if not longer. It's sort of untamed and wild, and it's broken through the walls of the house. I mean, it's some of the wall. There's the old fence is there. Somebody at some point has decided to decorate it with some lovely human skulls. But from what you can see from the exterior, it's not in great shape.
Well, Lord Talfrin certainly is quite a piece of work. He led us here. So should we make sure this is some sort of illusion? Does anyone have any sort of perception? Any arcana check or anything?
Yeah, if you could want to try to take an arcana check to sense.
Yes.
If there's any magical.
I think Master Suna has better arcana check than I do.
I have exactly.
Oh, okay. I have +1. I'll give it a shot.
I also tried that. Really?
Oh, what?
You only
I think I have. I think I only have +1.
Okay.
I have 0. So.
I mean, it says Arcana +1. I'm sorry. +17. I see now. I miss a 7 after the 1.
I see.
Okay,
this is
I'm
that
gonna.
Unchecked stuff that Lord Talfin was talking about.
I have rolled 5, so
okay. You are pretty certain there's no magical forces at work here.
So it's just skulls on the wall.
Just skulls, yes. Nothing new.
So can we do like a regular perception check?
That's not a bad idea either.
Okay. So it is perception, or is it? Do we have to look for like?
Well, if you're just having to see if you can notice anything from the outside, it's perception.
Yep. Then that's 21.
21. I mean, it's an old rotting building. You don't see any sign of anything weird going on here that makes you worried. I mean, you can see from the outside it's not in great shape. Actually, looking through, if you get a bit closer to it, looking through the windows, you can actually see that most of the sort of next floor up has fallen through. The floorboards of that have obviously rotted considerably. So you're not expecting to see these exciting amenities that you are promised inside.
So what was Lord Talfrin? Why did he bring us here? Like, why did he point us in this direction? There must be something here for us.
Maybe
right?
This isn't just like a safe spot.
Well, I have to say I'm out of tiny huts at the moment, tiny palaces at the moment. So we'll just have to, cross our fingers.
Ooh.
You hear the ghostly voice of Lord Talfrin. He says, "The crab buffet awaits you within," and it fades off.
I heard something.
I heard something too. He said something about a crab buffet. I say we go exploring, and then we send in our favorite barbarian ahead of us. McGrag, just why don't you trot in there, sir, and see what's what.
Sure.
I love him.
Right, you're heading inside then, McCrag?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is clearly the typical entranceway, not dissimilar to ones that you've walked into before back in the village of Barovia and also Valaki when you've been in the fine homes of the people who run those establishments. However, as before, this place is terrible. You see in front of you what probably was at one point a grand staircase leading to the next floor. However, the next floor doesn't exist. Neither does most of the staircase. You can actually see towards the back of the manor, the building is subsiding. So in fact, there are not a lot of rooms left here for you. You've got your front sort of entranceway and the rooms off to the right and the left. There's no doors of any form here. In fact, to the left, the wall to the left has kind of collapsed, opening up into that building, and it just it looks like you've walked into a building that's spent the last century subsiding into a bog, basically.
Well, as a barbarian, it still seems quite luxurious, though.
Of course, yeah. That's what
I guess.
What do you think, McGrag? Is it safe?
I'm gonna bang the butt of my battle axe on the floor and yell, who's here to welcome the saviors of all of Barovia? We were told there were amenities here. Bring me an amenity.
You have no answer except for a cold wind blowing through the empty archways.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can sense, any movement, anything? 8.
Nope. You are fairly confident you are alone in here. Possibly a few frogs. Other than that, it's you guys.
I'll give my companions a shout that it's all clear.
Okay. So, search the house, maybe?
Well, what's left of it?
Yeah. Is there a way into the is there a basement? No, if it's sinking into a bog. Can I sort of athletically climb upstairs, or is there actually literally no?
There's no upstairs to athletically climb up to. I mean, this is the shell of a building. You've got 4 walls around you, not really roof. In fact, even the 4 walls bit is maybe pushing it.
I'm starting to I'm sort of getting a little glad that Telfrin's dead. This is a terrible hotel. I don't want to be here at all. Everywhere I sit is wet. There are frogs. Frogs in a hotel? This is awful. Should we try to make a fire? I haven't. You know what? I will play some music. I have this new bone pipe that I need to study. Can I take a moment and study this bone pipe that I have acquired?
So if we take a short rest, you can spend some time considering it and figure out what's going on.
Are we all right with that, or do we want to keep leaping around with the frogs?
No, it's fine. I have a question for the hit die.
Mm-hmm.
Just what do I have to do? So I roll the d20?
No, you'll have on your character sheet what your hit dice are. It'll be underneath your hit points. And it'll should tell you what you roll for your hit die.
No, it doesn't say.
Okay, wait a second. I have it somewhere. You're a monk. And
yes.
Every monk rolls a certain type of hit dice. Kellen, what are you doing while we're taking this wee rest?
I'm going to start searching the rooms.
Okay. Could you take an investigation check for me, please? Master Stunna, your hit die, it's 1d8 per monk level, so you've got 6 of them.
6. Okay. So I can take them all in one go, or just
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Kellen, what was your investigation?
It was a 13.
You're 13. So you have a look around. Really, these 3 rooms at the front are the only rooms that you seem to be able to get access to. There are doors that are trying to lead to the back, but when you open them out, they just lead to, only one of them won't open. You get the impression there's really just earth behind it, and the other one just opens up onto nothing. It looks like the room behind is just really completely subsided. However, what you do find in the westernmost room, under the sort of rotting floorboards that have obviously fallen from above, you find something. You find half a sword.
Crit-Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast, where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcast.com and join our Crit-Faced fan group.